Yes! Greetings! Tiki here, and I am a half of a theater geek.
I am Monkey, and I am a full theater geek. Jazz hands.
All right, so Monkey, let's do some quick math here. If I am one half of a theater geek and you are a full theater geek, what does that make us?
It makes us could be one and a half theater geeks. We
One
could
and a half
argue about
theater
whether
geeks.
how much it qualifies being two people and one and a half, but we've had that argument way too much in the past already.
Right. Where it's like if Evan and I are here, and then it's like, okay, so it's two theater geeks.
Or if Dragon's here.
It's one and a half theater geeks. All right. So, Monkey, you have just returned shortly. You
Sort of. It's been like a week since.
a little
over a week since I got back. So, I mean, technically, that took longer to talk about Universal Orlando, but.
All right. Well, let's get right into it, Monkey. Let's talk about your Broadway trip, Broadway 3.0.
Yes. Yeah, I'm surprised I made it back this quickly. Like, it's so weird. Like, after last time, I was like, I do want to go back, but I'm okay not going back right away. I made it back relatively quickly, and now I'm like, I'm definitely up for going back soon. I mean, I know I should wait a little while, so, I mean, like, I know I should wait a little bit, allow some new blood in there, a few new cast members, and the repeats, but, yeah, this probably was my favorite of the 3 times I've been there.
Nice. Kind of reminds me of a situation we have with our October trip I have planned, where, like, for the better part of, 3 months, I was like, I'm not going back to Disneyland for the whole 2017. It's not going to happen. You're not going to see me step foot at Disneyland.
And of all things, you're interested in Mickey's Halloween party.
Yes. Anyways. So we'll get to that when we get to that. That's a long road ahead, but
hopefully one that includes Hamilton, but we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. I mean, I have a lot of things up in the air. The only 2 things that are completely sure are I'm going to go to Halloween party with you, and I'm going to go to Halloween Horror Nights with Garrett. Everything else we'll kind of have to go through. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, Monkey, any kind of requisite notes you want to have for this trip before we dive into the shows one by one?
Okay, well, I guess what sort of kicked this off was, well, to quote one of the greatest comedic duos of all time, we entered a contest! Yeah, we lost! Because what happened was that Avenue Q had this sort of contest thing to, like they would leave a humorous comment on our Facebook wall about this certain thing, and our top picks will get to come see the show for the bar mitzvah. They had a bar mitzvah at the beginning of the year. They've been running for a little over 13 years. They had their 3,000th soft Broadway performance.
Appropriate.
So, I entered, did not win. And at that point, it was sort of like, we kind of began running the logistics of this might be doable. And actually, by that point, the idea was still in our minds, it might be still kind of cool to go through with that. It could be doable. In fact, pushing it back a couple months, makes it easier to plan. The weather won't be as, bad. And
right.
And what was the other? Oh, yeah, and more shows would be opening. Because if I had one, then I got there, be able, and whatever stuff I'd catch was in the middle of the time when a whole bunch of stuff was closing. Whereas with this time, it's a bunch of stuff opening. This is going to be quite interesting to, it seems like quite a good season this year, 2016-2017 season. Should be fun to watch the Tonys this time.
Now, to be clear, the 2 main new ones you saw in terms of the musicals were...
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me at all? No, okay.
I'm sorry?
How about now?
Holy shit, I cannot hear you. So it looks like it may be just me here. So, in the meantime, let's see. I could bring out a crocodile toy and make it sing. I think I will. Let's see. Here, it's a crocodile toy. I'm gonna make him sing. They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. I don't know the rest of that one, so there's no business like.
Can you hear me now?
Wow, I still can't hear you.
Really? Well, crap. All right, but what Monkey was talking about though, the new shows, two of them that he saw that we'll get into were The Great Comet and then also Monkey, can you hear me? Monkey, can you hear me? Not yes or no. I can't hear you, Monkey. I can't hear you. Oh, man. Okay. And now I can't see or hear him. Well, gee, this is not going as planned. Oh boy. You boy. I don't know. Okay. I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying this from the actual webcam now, so you're not going to have visual of me for some stupid reason.
Well, Google Hangouts just continues to be the bane of our existence. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, okay.
We'll just go ahead.
If I can get back in visually, I'll try. We'll
just go ahead and make this an audio podcast. It's no big deal. And since I'm uploading this to the channel, like, separately from the channel that this is currently on, I can actually edit the parts out of us just kind of like figuring out the audio issues. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah,
I may just
so
be
we're
having
fine.
a laptop issue.
Yeah, so we're fine. We're fine. Anyways, Monkey, the last. Okay, so Monkey, the last thing that we were talking about before we cut off was how this was going to be a particularly strong and interesting year in 2016 for the Tonys.
Yeah. So you got stuff like The Great Comet and Dear Evan Hansen. Like a lot of new musicals opening this season.
Great Comet definitely caught my attention. The staging of that looks incredible.
Yeah. Would you have heard of it if I hadn't brought it up to you before?
Honestly, no.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're welcome. Okay, so you're not gonna see me, but, shit, I had some props. I had things to show.
Do you want to describe the props?
I guess, some of them relate to respective experiences, but,
Okay, well.
Sad monkey.
Well, yeah, you wanna just
like these cool mementos from my Broadway trip. I am unfortunate. Okay, so
You want to just dive right into the shows you saw then?
very well.
All right, so let's start with a significant other.
Yes.
All right, so what drew you to the show, Monkey, and what did you think of it?
Part of the reason that I was drawn to this one was that it seemed like something I could rush, because like in the possibility that I would have time for a show on the day I arrived, which I ended up having, obviously. Like, what was something I could rush where I wouldn't be as concerned about, like, say, I don't know, seating or whatever. And like, it's kind of funny, amongst the stuff opening, like one, like, but yeah, this seemed one that I could, that actually kind of had my interest and one I could actually get into. Unlike one I'm sure I'll mention near the end of this video. So, but, and from, so wherever, it was like, it opened on it was like starting up on Broadway. Like, I guess it was off Broadway a couple summers ago. Now it's actually reached Broadway. And it seemed to be getting good reviews, and the premise intrigued me. Like, I liked the premise. So I decided to see it. And I am glad I did.
Nice.
Yeah. So, well, first off, the theater. That was also one of the things that drew me to this show, was the theater.
Oh, we'll talk about the Great Comet Theater when we get to that, but wow.
Yeah. Well, you know me, like, I'm the kind of guy who sees Hamilton and Broadway and geeks out more at being in the Richard Rodgers Theater than being at Hamilton.
Sure.
Yeah, so like, and this, for whatever reason, this theater especially had my interest. Like, it's the theater that had, like, Once on this Island and Next to Normal. It's and wow, this is like probably, this could very well be among my top New York theaters, my top Broadway theaters.
Nice.
It's like, yeah, mainly because it's a small venue. The legroom wasn't too bad either, which I know that's sort of a contradiction.
I know it's a different genre, but I do like small venues myself when it comes to concert going. You know me, that's kind of that's the live performance thing I'm into, and I love my small venues.
Yeah. So, let's see, that it doesn't have much of a lobby, but it actually does have a bit of a lobby, like not just a lower level, which they also have. But this is the first time I've actually looked at the lower level lobbies of the theaters.
Nice.
I'll bring that up again when we get to another one of the later shows. But yeah, so, and that was kind of fun. They had a little thing down there, a photo op thing. It's the Booth Theater, so they have the photo op thing is called Booth at the Booth. That's fun, but yeah, there's an act. So it's not just like some of the other Broadway theaters. Like, you have this one room with the box office windows and a cast board. Then you go through the doors and you're immediately in the auditorium. No, there's another like room with like a merchandise and a bar and a bust, like a little hallway, and yeah, it's a small theater. Like, you could probably, like, the seats at the back of the mezzanine would probably be pretty good, pretty decent still. My seat. So, like I said, I did rush for this. Yeah, just if I may briefly backtrack. So, like, arriving in the city and like my walk, like getting like to the theater and back to the hotel to in the rush getting process was wonderful. So, like, walking past the stuff, like there's that McDonald's. There's the Phantom Marquee. George Abbott Way. It was.
That's awesome.
Like, I don't know if I necessarily felt that the other two times. So yeah, it was like a really good to be back feeling.
Totally.
Yeah. Also, if I may, side note, this time the our hotel room like looked out over the theater district.
Oh boy, you must have been stoked.
Yeah, so like we could see, we could see Phantom and kind of Anastasia and Dolly, like for that side of 44th Street, a little bit of 45th, like Comet and Evan Hansen. Oh, that was fun. And I love that there was still, like, from that window we could still see this big ad for Jersey Boys, even though that show closed in January.
Nice.
But anyway, so my seat for significant other was like 2 seats from the wall on the right side of the house, second row. Wow. So, yeah, pretty damn close to the actors. Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, to the side, so sometimes you'd have like back or something, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
Sure.
And I enjoyed the play itself. Let's see, it was enjoyable, had some laughs, had some nice dramatic moments, like some moments that, kind of spoke to me a bit. Some good lines in there. Like, there's this great bit near the end where the main character is talking with his grandmother, and he's like, he's having a hard time. And the grandmother says to him something like, "Look, it's a long book, and you're in a tough chapter right now, and you don't know how long it'll last, but it's a long book."
Yeah, that's one of the clips you showed me, I think.
Sort of, or I used that quotation on Facebook, so. And, it doesn't sound like that new of a line. Like, I'm sure we've all heard stuff like that before, but it's still a nice thought.
Mm-hmm.
Bittersweet thought, I guess, but and yeah, let's see, something else. I know it's funny, like, watching the montage of it now, because like the montage shows the final moment of the play where, like, it looks like him just sort of embracing, putting his head back, and he's in a spotlight.
Right.
So I'm guessing for you, it's just like, a clip of that, but it's different for me. Like,
spoiler alert.
Not so much a spoiler. It's just that
I'm kidding.
It's just there's more of a context to it, like, so that
sure.
That's that visual has more meaning to it. Like that, it's a thing. It's the kind that's sort of like I remember hearing one lady say, like, "Oh, it really tied things up." I don't know if it did 100%, but yeah, it does kind of tie things together a bit.
Nice.
Like maybe not a catharsis, but an emotionally appropriate moment.
Okay.
I definitely see this. I definitely see the show being done in like universities and community theaters. Like, hell, this one, like the Geffen Playhouse or theater, whatever it is in Los Angeles, is going to put on a production of it.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of show that you really don't need many, lavish sets or anything like that. It's mostly just the actors bouncing off of each other, from what I've been able to see of it.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Hell, I think this would actually even work as a movie.
We'll talk about that with some of the other shows that you're going to be talking about too, but I think a lot of the shows you saw would work good as movies.
Yeah, maybe this one the most.
Okay. I mean, I don't know as much about this one as I do about stuff like Great Comet, but
a couple of these other ones have already had movies.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, obviously Anastasia. Yeah, sure.
Phantom in Chicago.
But
yeah, I think this one, I would really like to see this one as a movie.
Cool.
And yeah, sadly, this out of the shows I saw, looks like this is going to be the first casualty.
Yeah, I noticed that. There was only like 70 something performances.
Well, it was an open run, and I guess business wasn't doing as well. Like, I don't think there was anyone in the mezzanine when I went.
Ooh.
So, and yeah, they like somewhere in the week after I got back, they announced that it was going to close on the 23rd of this month. So yeah, sad and also sad that like, oh, now maybe something cool is gonna go in that theater by the next time I'm there, but I want to check out other theaters.
Right. Double-edged sword.
Yeah, but it is gonna be cool to think like when this is being done in universities and such, and if there is a movie and if I see them, like I can say like, I saw the original Broadway production.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so like, I'm part of a piece of history.
Absolutely. Okay, so Monkey, your next show is The Play That Goes Wrong, which I am very interested about, Monkey. I have some personal stakes in this. Or shall we say, Monkey, with this concept and the premise, I have some personal spaces. I don't know.
I remember you said on... I remember you said on... I'm still here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember you told me on Facebook, like, Play That Goes Wrong sounds like a Muppets production.
It does sound like a Muppets. Well, just the title.
And I was thinking of that at the show. Like, great, like, the Muppets would probably have more distinct personalities than the actors in The Play That Goes Wrong, but yeah, I did.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because like the less distinct personalities actually kind of reminds me of what me and my friend who wrote Personal Spaces with me were trying to do with Personal Spaces. Like we totally wrote the character.
Was Personal Spaces a play within a play?
It's not. Yes, kind of. It's hard to explain, but the basis of it is that there's one character who knows that he's in a play. The rest of the characters
not like the extent. So it's not the extent of Play That Goes Wrong.
No. It's not the. But it's kind of more meta than The Play That Goes Wrong,
I guess. But yeah, like because Play That Goes Wrong, for those who don't know, the idea is that you're watching a. Okay, first a bit of history. So this is originally from London. I think it's still running there, and I remember like I'd heard about it and it sounded good, and then it gets announced it's coming here. I'm like, oh, I hope either it tours or I can somehow make it to Broadway to see it when it opens, however unlikely that is. In fact, it was actually just like in its last week of previews when I went. So, and I doubt they'd be changing much, like, that late in the preview game, and it's something that's already been in London for a little while. Hell, there's even like two sort of, like this group even made two more kind of similar shows. The comedy about a bank robbery and Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
Nice.
But this is The Play That Goes Wrong.
Okay, just really quick about Personal Spaces. Like I said, I just really like the idea of it's kind of like Monkey. You know that joke that we have about Roger being self-aware of the fact that he's in a musical. That was kind of the humor that I was going for with Personal Spaces. Okay. Whereas it seems like this is more kind of going for just like, okay, we're going to show you actors trying to put on a play and it going horribly wrong and that being the basis for it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So this is like I think they're called the Cornley Polytechnic Drama Society, something like that. Like some Polytechnic Drama University, some low-budget one. And like you even have like, say, like the board op is doing this just for his college credit or something, just for his credit. And they're putting on a performance of The Murder at Haversham Manor. And, of course, everything that goes wrong does. So, is it an easy kind of one-joke premise? Sure. Do some bits kind of go on a little while? Yeah. Is it funny? Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess some people aren't into it as much, but I enjoyed it so much.
Nice.
Like, of course, I don't want to give away too many of the gags.
Sure.
But like, yeah, it's sort of funny. Like, even when you're waiting for the show to start, like
I mean, I just saw like pictures of outside the lobby, and even that impressed me. It kind of reminded me of a Disney attraction, how they would hype up the experience.
I'll get to that in some of the other ones, but. Yeah, hell, even the advertising for this show is fucking hilarious. Like they made this video where, okay, we're going to the Lyceum. We're moving to the Lyceum Theatre because that's where they're playing on Broadway. So, and they're in London at their theater. So they walk like a few blocks over to the Lyceum Theater of the West End, which is showing The Lion King. And they're like, okay, we're here. Well, that was easier than we expected. Like, they said we'd have to take a plane. I wonder what's with all this Lion King stuff here. And then some guy walks by like, oh, hey, you're with a play that goes wrong. Yeah, I heard you're going to be at the Lyceum Theater in New York. I'm in New York.
That's awesome.
Well, try this. If you go on the website, on the main page, there's a thing that says, don't click on this. If you click on it, the page explodes.
Okay.
Genius. Genius. Or there's stuff like, appropriate for ages 10 and up. Recommended for no ages. Starring no one famous.
Yeah, and just like I was mentioning, just outside the theater, it kind of looks like a disaster zone. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I'd use those words, but yeah, they've had stuff like Kate Blanchett, J.K. Simmons, Neil Patrick Harris, and like some other stars have all seen the play that goes wrong.
Right.
There's even a thing on the doors that says like, you're at the wrong theater.
It's almost kind of like Lemony Snicket-esque in a way.
Not as grim, but yeah.
No, of course. Yeah, it's kind of like more lighthearted, like tongue-in-cheek Lemony Snicket.
It was like, even at the beginning of the show, like while you're waiting for the show to start, there, like the crew's setting up for the show and stuff's not going right. like there's issues with the door. They're going, like, they go throughout the entire theater, like, not just the orchestra, even into the mezzanine, and I'm presuming the balcony as well, looking for a dog.
Uh-huh.
So that gets a bit interactive. That was amusing. A certain need with this theater, like, this is, like, I don't know how the Hudson Theater, which just reopened, factors into this, or maybe even the New Amsterdam, how that factors in, but this is, like, the oldest continuously operating Broadway house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it also has stuff like, like, say, close together seats, which wasn't as bad for me. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Uh-huh.
Like, maybe because I was in the mezzanine. Like, I was towards the back of the mezzanine, and it didn't feel far from the stage. So lovely. I can't speak for the balcony. Like, I've heard pretty bad things about that balcony.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's 5 flights up, and it feels like you're gonna fall off, and it's uneven. but yeah, it's my experience was fine enough. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's one I would recommend a lot. Holy shit, the set. To quote something I saw online, the set deserves either like I saw something online that sums it up well, where it's like, this set deserves a Tony Award or a cease and desist letter from OSHA. Like, I know I can't speak for like any of the other sets outside of Significant Other, but considering some of the stuff that happens with this set and like how it relates to like at times it feels like the actors are in danger.
Right.
Yeah, this is deserving of the best scenic design of a play, at least.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And it's also sort of funny, they have the board op set up in one of the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's there throughout the show.
So it just kind of sounds like a great sort of celebration of like all the fourth wall breaky elements of theater that we love, kind of like an amalgamation of like something like Muppets, you kind of got some Monty Python flavor in there.
Maybe.
Oh.
It's like if you're watching a murder mystery, but like the set keeps malfunctioning and actors keep getting hurt.
Uh-huh.
And what's supposed to be dead, at times he can't stay still, or he has to move at times, like do whatever malfunctions. Like his hand gets stepped on. Like, the play starts, the lights come on, and you see him getting into place. You there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but yeah. And I was wondering if it would, like, if having intermission would get in the way of it. Like, you're already kind of stretching one joke out for 2 hours. Is an intermission
right, sure,
have an effect? And for me personally, it didn't get in the way.
Did they do anything creative during the intermission?
The board op was still looking for the dog.
Okay.
It was like before that, like the stage manager has to be brought in to read for someone else. So she's like, blackout, intermission. You can guess what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's also sort of funny. So there's like and Duran.
I know of them.
Yeah, this is the first time I ever heard of them. So
okay,
that's me. But so what is it? They are a bit of a running gag throughout the show at a couple spots because Board Op is a Duran Duran fan.
Uh-huh.
They even sell a Duran Duran CD in the lobby.
God.
It was sort of funny, like at the stage door. So the security guy mentions like, because I was at a matinee, so they mentioned like, so they might not come out because a 2-show day, there's like need to do some physical therapy or whatever. Everyone came out.
Nice.
I love that. And they were a nice cast.
Oh.
But
Okay.
yeah, I just love that. Yeah, they might not come out. Everyone does.
Okay, what's next?
Anastasia.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is probably one of the most hyped of the year, I would say, just based on like it's a very recognizable IP.
Yeah,
I feel like it's something that would really translate well to a Broadway audience. It's something that you can build upon, like
they definitely build upon it.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
This takes the way I describe it is this takes the sort of Hunchback route.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, where it's definitely takes stuff from the cartoon and also from the 50s movie, but they definitely changed some things up. Like Rasputin and Bartok are completely gone.
Okay, that's interesting.
So yeah, it is kind of sad. I mean,
Bartok. You can't cut
like,
Bartok. No,
I just want to see a Bartok. Can we get Bartok the Magnificent on Broadway?
Oh God.
They didn't do this, but it would have made me so goddamn happy if the exit music was the title theme from Bartok the Magnificent.
Right.
So happy.
Just throw Bartok a bone.
Yeah, like I think the end credits pop song gets snuck into the score somewhere, or hell, like In the Dark of the Night, which, as much as that we'd love to see that in a musical, it's not in the show, but part of the tune sneaks its way into one of the songs.
Ooh, okay.
Like it's a sort of Anna Tevka-like song about these people getting out of Russia. Like that, these people getting out of Russia are singing as they're about to leave the train station, like I'm saying goodbye to my homeland song, like the feelings that come with it, and was it this, and like a phrase or so from Dark of the Night winds up in there, like but and it fits in beautifully with the way they do it, with the way they put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Like a sort of solemn sound. Like that, like the main singer of that is only in like that one scene. Like that character's only real scene. And he's definitely memorable.
Nice.
Was it? I thought they did nicely with this. And of course, it'll be interesting, like, I guess, when this eventually tours, assuming it will, it would be interesting to catch it on tour and see whatever this final version is, because I saw it was, like, wrapping up its first week of previews.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of like the opposite of Significant Other.
Significant Other was already open, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, or maybe the opposite of Play That Goes Wrong, where one of the two plays you saw, I thought you said were... like in the last week of previews.
Play That Goes Wrong was wrapping up previews.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of Play That Goes Wrong.
Yeah, because like this just had the Hartford run, which they've already made some changes from.
Right.
It sounds like the villain, like the antagonist, the new antagonist character got fixed up a bit. And it sounds like they're already making some changes with this one, like especially with Paris Holds the Key to Your Heart. which I am fine with because honestly, that number wasn't as great as it could have been.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, especially considering how, like, it should be this amazing showstopper. Like, it opens Act 2, but I thought it could have kicked off a bit stronger. Let's see. Periel's the key. So yeah, there's a ton of new songs. Like, pretty much every, like, the remaining songs from the movie have been reworked in some way, or like the ones that haven't been rewritten are in different places.
Right.
Like, say, Learn to Do It is a lot earlier. Once Upon a December is in a bit of a different spot in a different context.
Oh my god, that song. Sorry.
To the past, like, you know, in the movie that's at the beginning. Like, he's starting on her journey.
Right.
Here in the musical, it's the end of Act 1.
Okay.
So it's like they've just gotten out of Russia and they're about to cross into Paris.
That's interesting, but I can appreciate that both from a storytelling standpoint of like you'd end the act there.
Yeah, I thought it really worked.
And also just because it is a very memorable song from the movie, so it would make sense as kind of like a show-stopping end of the act. So okay, I can see that working.
Yeah, they did make it work.
Cool.
Let's see. It was. What was a bit I wanted to mention? I'm so prepared.
Now,
I even have notes in front of me. The reunion between Anya and. Okay, so like, we've seen the movie, but like the reunion scene is beautiful and satisfying. I thought the ending was clever, like the way they get a deal with like, so how do they like stop the talks of Anastasia? I thought they had a clever way of going about it for both the French and Russian sides of it. Like, you see, like, should I bother saying it or?
I don't personally mind.
Okay, if you do mind, just skip ahead a bit. So what they say is like, so Anya is like with her grandmother's permission, is like, you know, the grandmother's like, you know, like Anastasia, like, you know, be who you are, Anya, like whoever it is you are. So like, so Anya goes to be with Dmitri. And so then you see these two bits with like her addressing like, so the search for Anastasia is over, like it's all over and done with, and like she mentions probably like it doesn't matter if she was Anastasia or not. Mm-hmm. So it is very, she most likely is. It's very strongly likely that she is. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the Anastasia thing is over, and because no one took the reward money, I'm gonna donate it all to charities. And then meanwhile in Russia, like you have the new antagonist guy who's this Chekist officer. Like he's this, you know, officer whose father was one of the people who killed the Romanovs. So yeah, no sorcery here. It was communism.
Right.
They never say the word communism, but it's pretty obviously, you know, amidst communism, amidst the rise of communism. So his conflict is like, you know, his father was one of the people who killed the Romanovs, and I think he's been haunted, if I remember right, he's been haunted by the memories of the children at the gate. And so there's the concern of like being what his father wasn't, because this, like in this version, they point out like, so if Anastasia is still alive, the current Russian government isn't going to like that. Like he ends up sparing her in the end. And so when he goes back, he says, Anastasia wasn't alive. It was all a rumor. Mm-hmm. He's dead. So then meanwhile, you know, Anya gets to live with Dmitri or do her journey with Dmitri. And yeah, it is kind of interesting. Like personally, I'm fine with them doing all the changes and such, like doing the Hunchback route. I do wonder how it is for people who, you know, are going to see this. Like they're excited, like, oh my God, I've loved this movie I loved the cartoon for out for almost 20 years now. So people
that'd probably be my sister. My sister would be in the target
So like
demographic for that.
So like if you don't know, it's gonna be that they've made all these changes. So like you get there and it's a little different at first, but then it still seems relatively similar. And then like they die and like, oh wait, where's Rasputin? Like it's not an evil sorcerer. Instead, it's a communist officer.
Right.
And we're seeing how like it sucks for the common people of Russia during this era. And there's like stuff about communists and like even prostitution is alluded to, and like the characters are kind of come from different places. Like Dmitri saved Vlad from a firing squad, and before the events of the show, and Sophie is now named Lily. There was one moment that did feel like a bit of a middle finger to the cartoon where like the Empress where the grandmother is reading letters from people claiming to be Anastasia, and one addresses her as Grandmama, and she's like, I was never Grandmama. It was Nana. It was only
Nana. Yeah, that sounds like kind of a middle finger.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they take out that line, honestly.
Any theming around the theater, Monkey?
Aside from standard stuff, they do have like a missing poster for Anastasia outside.
Cool.
And they also have a thing like pose with like this image of Anya and Dmitri and the officer guy, and like to pose with them, and there's a thing that says, I took the journey.
Oh, right. I survived Jurassic Park, the ride.
Let's see. Let's see. I can't think of a good Jurassic Park Anastasia crossover.
All right, well that's okay because we kind of have to clip forward, man. If we.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I thought they did nicely with Anastasia.
Cool. Okay. What's next?
Phantom.
Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this because we've already discussed it. But how was it this time?
I had I'd sort of toyed with not going because this would be like third time. And,
right.
And it was still the same guy as the Phantom, who I'm still not crazy about. I'll get to him in a bit. But I decided like the show means enough to me to do it again.
And
it helps, having a Thursday matinee so it doesn't steal a slot away from another show.
Sure.
I mean, I do like the atmosphere of seeing it in the evening, but I'll take it. It was a weird kind of like pre-show experience this time. For some reason, they made us wait downstairs at first. And then the understudy board wasn't entirely accurate at first. They had it updated by the time we were leaving the theater.
Right.
So... like I said, there's still a few, like a couple of members of the cast I wasn't crazy about. Like, I can get to them in a moment, but it's like I had a revelation, like how, despite that, I still love the material itself. I'm going with the L word, and yeah, I think like as a piece, I do genuinely. And of course, it's enjoyable. Some of the casts, it was cool, like, because of Broadway Cares throughout, I went during a time when shows were collecting for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. One of the things you could do was you could buy prop letters that are used in the show.
Oh, nice.
Which I am holding to the camera that's not on for some godforsaken reason. It's a letter to Monsieur le Vicomte de Chagny. It says, do not fear for Miss Daae. The angel of music has her under his wing. Make no attempt to see her again. So with the cast, I'd say the two that stand out are, and Monsieur Furman. Furman, I just thought could work better in a couple spots, like the first time they sing notes, that's one of my favorite songs in the show, but I mean, just that song in general doesn't seem as fast-paced now, and that was a lot of the fun of that number was the pace of it. Feels a little too slow now. I wasn't crazy about how this guy does the part where he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, stay in your seats. This is just an accident. An accident." Like a corpse just fell. Like a corpse has just fallen from the rafters. He's just like, "Please, it was an accident. An accident." It could sound more frantic.
Yeah, it sounds a little cheesy.
Like not frantic enough, or whatever. So, and the Phantom, the parts where you just hear his voice are good. It's the same guy I saw last time. So, like, leaving out that guy's real life.
Of course. I don't want to touch on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Leaving that out, like, I don't know, like the VO bit, like the voiceover bits are good. But I'm not crazy about him. I think my main thing is that I feel like he over-sings it.
Okay.
Like, so that it doesn't sound... Like, it doesn't sound... I don't want to say genuine, but it feels more like, say, like what you would... Maybe kind of like what you would picture when you hear Phantom of the Opera. Like, if you didn't see it, like, just like some guy singing, like some creepy guy. Like,
right.
Like, not as much of the... I mean, sure, there's some character there, but it feels more like he's like that fate which condemns me to wallow in blood has also denied me the joys of the flesh. You got these, dramatic things, but it's not as effective when he's, over-singing them like that.
And
I said before, like, he had a moment or two where it's like that were kind of unintentionally amusing. One of his good moments from the last time, like the end of Act 1, where he was like, "Oh, no, stop!" Like he's hearing Christine and Raoul singing, like, so you saw the pain that he was going through with it. Yeah, he was effective. Now he was like, "No."
Oh God!
God damn it! Damn you!
Oh man!
You're not as preferable, Phantom. I wish you'd leave soon, but we're losing Christine instead. Like, it looks like it was the same Christine as last time. It looks like she may be leaving soon, which I actually think she's a pretty strong Christine.
Uh-huh.
So we're losing her, but not, not as good Phantom of the Opera, the freaking Phantom. And also, like, I mean, Phantom's such a great character. But,
right.
And again, maybe it's just like how I would play Phantom, like, say, more of the Hugh Pinaro, Michael Crawford type. Nevertheless. But yeah, okay. I still love Phantom.
Right, so what's next?
Spider-Man. Great comment.
Okay, here we go, Monkey.
When I was like I kind of remember hearing about it when it was first, like, whatever original production. I was kind of hearing about it like it was just some dinner theater thing.
This thing.
Like, I am
fascinated by this thing that you saw, Monkey.
And then, like, I'm reading, like, stuff about it when the Broadway production started, previews, based on stuff from me. I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is my kind of thing. And, but I did decide to see it because, like, I decided to listen to the prologue, and the music and it roped me in. That song roped me in. And I figure, the way this thing is staged, which I'm sure we'll discuss, it's probably not as likely to tour. So, yeah, like, this could be the chance to see it in its, intended form. Okay, its intended form probably would have still been like an attempt, but,
Right.
And, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this. The instrumentation looks incredible.
Like, most of the band, the band is scattered throughout the audience. Most of the cast plays instruments.
Right, and Monkey, that's something that I've long since been fascinated with. The idea of kind of creating this theater experience where you're merging elements of, like, a live concert with elements of storytelling. I have a project that I've been working on for a while now where I'm trying to, you know, like do the music of the Hold Steady as like a Broadway style like musical with elements of concert and elements of like gospel, like church experience. I don't know.
The way I've thought of describing it is if you took the production, like the original production of Cats, like the setup and like the immersiveness and the all over the audience staging,
right.
Instead of performing Cats, they performed Hamilton.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's funny, like, you know, I won't deny Hamilton is probably a stronger show than Comet, like overall, but this was almost like the opposite of my experience at Hamilton. Like, you know, Hamilton has got all that hype going in, and then I was like, yeah, it's a good show. And, you know, it's like I'm worried it's gonna be like overplay stuff, and I don't feel like it works too well as like the album is too much of a substitute.
Sure.
Whereas with this, you know, I wasn't sure of the expectations, and then I ended up enjoying it like so much, and what was it? And like I made sure not to listen to all of the songs beforehand, although I'll get to the preparations I did in a bit. Like, you know, I looked up the plot at least, listened to a few songs. Like, you gotta love how even in the prologue they tell you to study.
I know, right? It's just like, okay, every character's got 9 names. Like, study up on this. Look at your
This
program.
is all in your program.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. Like, I've looked. It looks like when it first opened on Broadway, they had a synopsis in the playbill. They don't now.
Oh, okay, so that's kind of inaccurate.
They still have a family tree. Tree.
Gotcha. Okay.
But then the staging, like, I mean, like I've said, I don't feel like the staging of Hamilton is, you know, enough of a thing to be like, no, you don't just listen to the album's not a fully fine substitute. You have to see it. Whereas with this, yeah, you'd get the story and the songs and such from the album, but this, like at the start, you got the actors like going all over and like interacting with you and playing music and tossing out pierogies to the crowd.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, like there's a scene at the top of Act 2 where they hand some audience members letters. And then for the Balaga / the abduction sequence, they hand out egg shakers. I guess not everyone gets them, but I got lucky. Like, some actress came down it was like, I sat in the front mezzanine to the side on an aisle, which, yeah, so like the second half of Act 2, there was a guy sitting next to me the whole time. So you got them all in the aisle during that, and like they go up in the mezzanine too, even the 2 leads. And so when the Balaga number starts, like an actress comes to my row with a basket filled with egg shakers, like, you know, hands the basket to me, like, take out an egg and pass it down. So I got an egg, which you can't see here, but I'm shaking it. Yes, you're showing. Yeah, that's from the ART production.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, that's cool. Second from the left is Broadway.
This one?
That's also. Wait, no, that is, but from the left. Yeah, that one. That's how it looks on Broadway. One of the other benefits of this, so you know me, I like to see these theaters, so whenever this leaves, if something goes into this theater that I want to see, I'm okay going back there, because it'll look like it usually would. Like, hell, even the... Okay, I'll get to the other stuff in a minute, but like, so that Balaga / the abduction sequence, like, it stops the show in both definitions, in that it both, you know, it brings the story to a halt, but also, god damn, what a party. Yeah, it's sort of fun, like, even outside the theater, they have this long wall with pictures of the cast, and it is like who they are. Like, Natasha, she loves Andre with a lot of her heart. Anatole spends his money on women and wine. Balaga, the famous troika driver. And Andre isn't here. What about Pierre? And then the lobby looks totally different than the theater usually would. Oh yeah, as you might be able to tell, on-stage seating.
Right.
So like there are times where they interact with people, like like the suitors of Mary and Bolkonski are audience members. And there's a kind of funny like one of Anatol's love letters has to be handed to Natasha by an audience member. Or there's that part where like we have to sit down, Anatol takes a seat next to an audience member. So yeah, the lobby looks totally different than it usually would. So now it looks like some Russian bunker. Like, I know some like people in the Broadway community would probably give me flack for saying this, but the theme park fan in me certainly admires that.
Sure.
It's like in the pre-show immersion sense.
Of course.
And I forgot what I was going to think of. So it's kind of cool. Like, this show seems quite repeatable. And I don't mean just in like, see what it's like from all over the theater. No, I mean like just the show itself seems repeatable.
Right, like even if there was only one angle to view it, just the whole it sounds to me like even just like the live party element of it could get unpredictable from performance to performance.
I don't know about unpredictable, but it's like that could be like a fun thing to experience over and over. Like,
well, I mean, if anything else, it seems like kind of a controlled chaos that they have. Really fine tuned.
Yeah. So I was able to see. I did get to see Josh Groban.
Oh, you did? Okay. Let's talk about that.
Obviously most famous for his cameo in Muppets Most Wanted. I love that he includes it in his bio.
So how is the Groban?
And it is sort of, he is well cast. He does well. He is Pierre.
Nice.
He was Pierre.
Nice.
And I'm sure like the standby is good too. And like, of course, and I'm sure like, did you hear who's going to replace Groban?
No, I did not.
Hercules Mulligan!
Oh, really? Okay. Nice.
Yeah. The one original principal from Hamilton I did see. And I think, during the show I was thinking like, I can see him in this role. But you could see Groban is just like, stunt casting, like they even made a new song for him. But even then, like, even with that, he still plays it. He's still well cast. Like he does well in the role. But it is kind of funny, like, so figure like this is attracting people who are Groban fans. Of course.
Sounds like it'd be a hot ticket just for his name.
So like they go in, to see Groban, and he spends most of the show sitting in a hole.
Right.
So like he doesn't do that much in the first act. He doesn't really get that involved until the second half of Act 2.
His character is a sad, strange, lonely little man.
Technically, he's on stage pretty much the whole time, but it's kind of like I would have had a good vantage point of him, and it was kind of easy to forget he was there.
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, and I did, study up a bit for this show. Like, read the synopsis, listened to a few songs. I actually checked out War and Peace.
Okay.
And so, now whenever I watch the Peanuts movie, I'm going to think of Comet.
Right.
and I read that section of that Comet takes up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of funny recognizing lyrics from the songs I knew. There's a lot of the lyrics in Comet are taken right out of War and Peace.
It sounds kind of like how they did it with Hamilton.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, like how they took, like in Hamilton, they would take lyrics from like quotes and letters and stuff like that.
Yeah, this a bit more so.
Like, okay.
Like maybe some slight paraphrases, but there's stuff like taken right out of Tolstoy.
Gotcha.
And I am glad I did. That probably did help with the coherence for me. So I can't speak for those who aren't as studied up. And
yeah, I
that
mean,
does...
for me, like, I've listened to the soundtrack once, and I was kind of just, like, getting my neutral Milk Hotel kicks in just with the instrumentation. I love the instrumentation, but, yeah, you know, I was having a bit of a hard time actually following the plot. I'll admit, I wasn't the most fine-tuned to it, so I could see how research would be a good thing with this.
Yeah, maybe the visuals would help.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would, yeah.
I'm sure it helped when there was a plot synopsis in the playbill.
Right.
But yeah, it was sort of funny, like, also, like, recognizing this, like, for the part, like, first we have to sit down, it's a Russian custom. So that was funnier for me because, like, I remembered that from a footnote in the edition I checked out.
Nice.
Which I think it was the translation that the author used. That the author of comic used. So, and there were little footnotes throughout at times. And one of the footnotes, like when it gets to that part, mentions so whatever in the story, they're like, they sat down for a minute and then they left. So, and in the footnotes, it mentions that this was a Russian thing, like a custom, tradition, superstition, whatever. So make that moment funnier. Like, and it's funnier live than it is on the album. Like they stretch out the silences way longer.
All right, Monkey, I hate to rush you, but I only got about 15 minutes here, so...
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, did not know we were that short for time.
Sorry.
Okay, anything you want to say about comics?
I mean, not particularly. It just seems like a really unique experience, very immersive. I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to put you on the spot. And also, I'm having these really weird stomach pains, if you must know. I have no idea where it's coming from, but it's like painful as hell, and I'm like, oh god. So, I'm sorry. Anyways, all right. So what's next?
Chicago.
Okay.
So I've kind of been hesitant to see this one on Broadway in the past because I've seen it 3 times on tour already. So I want to see things I haven't seen.
Right.
Well, not enough interested me, at least not things I could get into. Like, I don't know if we'll have time to discuss other shows, but say Hello Dolly, which I'd love to have seen, but looked impossible to get into. So, and I was less willing to risk a less preferable seat with this than I was Significant Other. So I saw this, and it's also like, let's see the Broadway production of Chicago off the bucket list.
Sure.
And I am glad I went. I'm certainly glad I went. Chicago is quite possibly my favorite non-Avenue Q show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, partially, but I also have, I do really like the show itself, but I also have a very personal tie to the movie. The movie has a strong tie to a very important event in my theatrical life. Okay,
nice.
And sure, I was on a couple of the leads, but I thought it was worth it still. It's great to hear that music live. Cell Block Tango was excellent. Who was it? The actress playing Velma Kelly. I could also see her playing Roxy and Mama in the future. Pulling a Baby Newworth, play all 3 of them. And also with this case, I've seen the show, but I haven't been in the theater.
Sure.
So, but yeah, Chicago. I am glad I went.
Okay, cool.
And of course, I brought along my cutout of Dr.
Yes, of course. Can't forget about that.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Ooh, all right. Yeah, not too much to say about Chicago because we all know it. It's a standard for Broadway. So
yeah, it's amazing. This production is run just over 20 years.
I know, that's crazy, man.
It's the second longest running show on Broadway. It's the longest running American musical, the longest running revival. And to think the original production didn't do so well.
Right.
But this one opened around the time of the OJ trials. That helped.
Oh boy. Right. Yeah. That's some art imitating life, imitating art right there. Okay.
And yeah, that speech at the end about people are the people have lost faith in America and what America stands for, but we're shining examples of what a great country this is. Yeah, you can make of that what you will. So, shall we move on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Come From Away.
Okay, out of all the ones that I listened to, I really, really like the music in this, and I definitely got the story a lot more than I got it from straightforward.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting with this one. Like, there's only like a few applause breaks in it. So most of it, like, it's a very fast-paced show, like, kind of always moving and such.
Sure. I get the sense of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good story to know.
I really like the main character of the female pilot. She's really engaging in it. Yeah. Just listening through the soundtrack, she's really engaging.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd call her the main character. It's like it's an ensemble piece. Like, everyone is pretty equal.
I mean, all right, fair enough. I guess maybe I'm just calling her the main character.
Like, no, she's prominent. She's prominent,
and she's kind of like the one character that really, like, I got really drawn into her story as I was listening through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of fun, like, in the lower level lobby, which, you know, good thing I actually went down into them this time.
Right.
So, like, this was the first time I'd ever gone down there, so good thing I didn't just go straight to my seat, or I would have missed, like, you know, a map for, like, where you come from, place your name and your hometown here, or, like, a thing about Gander lingo, or about the story itself. But, yeah, so, it was kind of funny, like, how the theater was, like, kind of a duplicate of the one where Anastasia's in.
Okay.
Yeah, seeing the similarities.
Right.
For me with this show, like, yeah, it's definitely a good story to know, and I can see it being popular for licensing. I'm concerned it was a bit of a personal hype victim, kind of like what happened with, say, the Scottsboro Boys for me, where, like, this even shares a cast member or two of the Scottsboro Boys.
Okay, yeah, that's funny because I was really into it, listening to it, so it sounds like.
So, like, you know, I'm looking at stuff of it online beforehand, like some, like, whatever little clips they've had, and, like, this looks amazing. This stuff sounds amazing. It's supposed, so maybe it'll be like that same thing happened with Scottsboro Boys, where it's like it seemed like, oh yeah, that was good, yeah. So so that's how it is. So that's what it's like.
Right.
And I definitely enjoyed Scottsboro a lot more the second time I saw it. Maybe that'll happen with this one. So, like, just for, like, immediate response, if it was between these like, I would probably lean a bit more towards Comet for Best Musical, but, you know, this is a good one.
I mean, I would probably lean towards Comet,
like, and it feels
well.
Unfair
like, don't get me
show.
wrong. I think Comet seems like a far more ambitious musical than this. Although this,
and I could understand why you might choose this over Comet.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for this, like, I definitely think the songs are more straightforward. It's like it's more palatable than Comet is, whereas Comet is much more ambitious.
Yeah, it's more of a spectacle.
Sure. But no, I did get really drawn into this story, though, man. Of course, I was 10 years old when the September 11th attacks happened. So
that might be another element of it for me, because, like, I don't remember them.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I mean, I'm a few years older than you, so yeah. I mean, I
mean, I'm sure other people my age do. Me personally, I have no memory of it. Like, I didn't even really know that 9/11 was a thing until the 5th anniversary.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Like, I was at a ball game on that day, and and there was I remember there was some video of W. Bush making some address about it, like, on the 5th anniversary. Like, all I knew was that there were these towers in New York that aren't there anymore, and somebody roped across them.
Yeah, no, I have vivid memories, Monkey, of just being out on the blacktop in elementary school, and the teachers, like, very grimly, like, coming in and telling us what happened, and kind of like getting off from school early that day. And so just kind of the I did live through that. I do vividly remember what that time was like, even though I was just a child at the time. So for them to take something like that, which is of course probably one of the most raw and tension-filled times in our country's history,
and even then they focus on a different side of it.
Right.
They focus on the people whose planes were diverted, and like the stuff they had to go through, like what's going on, and like you get that.
But it's
one woman
that's
trying
a great
to
it's a great kind of lens to tell the story though, because these people are people who are, you know, obviously caught up in the thick of the September 11th drama, and yet they're far away from the drama.
Yeah. And of course, you know, the charity of others.
Of course, yes. And yeah, it just seems like this has a really good ensemble cast. Another character I got into, I don't quite remember his name, but he's the cop I thought was really funny.
Oz?
Yeah, Oz. Yeah, I thought he was really he has a lot of amusing like one-liners and stuff.
But yeah, it's a fine show. I'll enjoy it more on a second viewing, like whenever it tours. It'll be interesting to see how it does at the Tonys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely interested in the Tonys as well. If this and
like even just what they're gonna perform.
Sure. Like if this and Great Comet are like two of the big contenders this year,
and Evan Hansen.
You're
Evan Hansen. Like, you know, I'm already feeling a bit of hype backlash. You know, like, and some of the things I've heard sounds like I may have issues, and like it's like most people, the majority opinion seems to be that it's super good. And I can't fairly judge. Like, of course I'm gonna say Comet if it's between that and Evan Hansen.
Sure.
So maybe it is super good. I don't know. I'm just feeling some sort of hype backlash for some reason on my end. Like something just feels off. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's me.
All right, so Monkey, let's talk about your, you know, if you had
my dream job.
Yes, your dream job. Your, I'm sure you're like rite of passage every time you go to New York.
yeah. It was kind of funny the first time it was at the halfway point, but now I prefer it as the ending. It does make such a good ending, especially the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like the last 5 minutes is such a great moment to end on. You know, like do this whole theater trip, and you know, not just with my ultimate, but also with you know that great message of like for now. And yeah, it's it's always good to be back, and it was fun. I got a picture with Lucy.
Yes.
Thanks again, Broadway Cares. And, and the show we're talking about Avenue Q, of course, which is amazing. It's still around, and it's still relevant today.
Totally,
like the themes of adulting and racism and sex and stuff. Like, oh, it's still very relevant. Like I remember, like say maybe earlier in the 2010s, like the idea of like maybe the show was dated, but unfortunately, it's still relevant.
Right.
And of course, like the guy who plays Brian, who was my backstage tour guide, remembered us. Probably helped side messaged him before the show.
Right.
Yeah, he remembered us, and it was. So at the stage door, we're talking with him again. Like we chatted with him a bit. Like, well, they were collecting in the lobby for Broadway Cares, and we chatted with him again at the stage door, kind of about things. And at one point, he mentions something. Says like, "Yeah, you're like family." I was almost on my knees. Like I just sank to almost my knees, going, "Ah!"
I am Avenue Q family. Oh my god.
Yes, like like this year especially, my passion for getting into that production has been renewed.
Of course. Yeah.
Like especially with a pretty cool opportunity that happened a few weeks before the trip. So yeah, like that was an amazing thing that happened. But yeah, here's hoping I'm up there with them soon.
Sure. Whew. Okay. All right, we've gone through it. Monkey, do you want to spend just a couple minutes on some of the other shows you kind of wish you would have seen or would have had the chance to see? You already mentioned Hello, Dolly.
Yeah. Not sure how much it's like stuff I would have seen. Like, I mean, there's stuff that's going to tour, stuff I've heard that's not very good. Like stuff I've heard kind of things about. And what is it like? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like the decorations outside the theater are brilliant. Apparently, the show is pretty bad.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like I was looking up some like Broadway World preview thread of it. Like my parents had a free night. They ended up seeing Chicago, so like Charlie was an idea. Well, even if they could have gone, so I was looking up stuff on it, and it was sounding pretty bad. Like it was, the reports were pretty bad.
Oh man.
Sounds like they sounds like they're making some changes, some improvements, some stuff that could still be fixed. Like apparently the set is really unsatisfying. Among other things, the squirrels tear Veruca to shreds.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. And it's never mentioned if the kids made it out okay. But no, seriously, like at least the stuff outside the theater is pretty
I've
clever.
seen some pictures of that. Again, it has that kind of Disney quality to it.
Yeah. You mind if I mention a couple other things I experienced in the city?
I guess really quick.
Yeah, real quick. Like, so I stopped by the Central Park Zoo. That was nice. That's a nice zoo. Small, some cool animals. They even have a Ice Age 4D thing, which was
How was
fun.
that? How was that? I'm curious.
It's the No Time for Nuts short, but with some extra footage, including like Sid and the others.
Okay. Okay.
Like another couple 4D gimmicks. Maybe not all the effects worked, but it was cute. Like I still enjoyed it. Like I'd do it again. Like I enjoyed it despite the kid near me begging for most of it to get off.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah. And it was like just before we stopped at the zoo, we were able to find the Balto statue.
Yes, that was awesome. And you also drove by the Unisphere.
Oh yeah, that. It's so funny with that Balto statue. Like right after the critic does his review, and like I looked up the statue before the trip, and for whatever reason, I thought it was on the more north end of the park. So like, I guess I won't be able to see it. Then we're looking at a map trying to find the zoo, and like, Balto? Wait, he's near here? Oh, cool. Yeah, that was funny to see in person. So that looked around Rockefeller a little again. So I actually saw the ice rink this time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went inside St. Patrick's Cathedral this time. Beautiful on the inside.
Nice.
Some respite from the rain. So yeah. So as you walks into St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Right.
The weather was cold.
Yeah, so I've heard.
So it wasn't snowing, although there were a few like things of snow on a few like sides of the street. So probably my first time actually experiencing real legitimate snow. Even if it's just like dirty clumps on the side, it counts.
Right.
It didn't rain too much, mainly like the first night and especially the Friday. We intended to do Top of the Rock, but we ended up not worked out. So yeah, like I said, I quite enjoyed this one. I certainly would like to get back soon, but again, like I should probably wait a bit, let in some new blood. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, Monkey, I apologize for rushing you, but thank you so much for that story.
Okay, so, is it better that I was rushing instead of dragging?
I think it was. Yes. Monkey, it was just my tempo. Oh yes. All right. So thank you guys for listening, and of course, with me going to see Tarzan, hopefully we'll be doing that Disney theatricals that we've been teasing about sooner rather than later. And in the meantime, have a good one, folks. Have a good one.
Yay.